So, breaking news. Ike Perlmutter has sold his entire Disney stake. This is actually quite massive news. I mean, he was one of the single largest stakeholders of Disney as a singular person.
Disney is now officially a sinking ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Culture, can you pull up Disney stock for me and just have a look? I'll get through this article first, just to see how that has.
Yeah, it's been crawling downwards the last few days.
It was tracking under 90.
Let's just get to some of the article first, guys.
Yeah,
so Ike Perlmutter, for those that don't know, is a major Disney stockholder who lent his shares recently to
Nelson Peltz.
To Nelson Peltz to try to get some board seats, basically.
Yep.
Well, some background. He's a guy who basically brought Marvel back from the brink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So additional. Yeah, exactly. So a good point. Additional information for those that don't know. Ike sort of actually already owned Marvel, didn't he? And then he sold it. He owned. Yeah, he did. Did he? He owned Marvel.
Well, it's technically that's how he got all these Disney shares. Is because he sold Marvel to Disney, basically.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah. But basically, he says this, when reached through a spokesperson, Perlmutter, who accumulated the holding when he sold Marvel to Disney in 2009 for more than $4 billion, didn't disavow this. So this is, according to the Wall Street Journal, he's just sold all of his stock. So Perlmutter had supported Nelson Peltz in a first run at a Disney board seat in 2022, although the activist investor ultimately backed down because Disney said they were going to change stuff. Then they went again recently. They didn't win. And now Nelson Peltz has sold his Disney stock. And now Ike Perlmutter has sold his Disney stock. This is huge. And as we got this from...
I think he must have did this a while back because, he sold these it looks like he got like 115 a piece for them. So he sold them, but probably around the same time Peltz did, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's the last time I can remember it being that high. Yeah, see, Olaf said in the back here, too. He sold right after the loss of Peltz. Yep.
I mean, wow.
So this actually happened a while back. Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just trying to pan out. Like, we've got a month to date. Look, just constant down.
It's terrible.
Yeah, they're in really shit shape right now.
Wow.
So that would have been where he sold it, probably back in May. Right there where it hit the one.
So just for those in the chat that haven't kept up to date on this and watched the videos we've done, this is where it was announced that Nelson Peltz was coming back, right, in February. Started to sort of get, wind of it all. And then it sort of peaked here. It was like, yeah, okay, we're going for it. And then, some sort of bobbing and weaving. And then this was this day here, 3rd of May. It was here, sorry. 2nd of April, where it peaked, was the earnings call where it was expected at the time, the markets expected it as well, and we know this. We can literally look at this now. The markets expected Nelson Peltz to be announced for a board seat, and that's why it peaked. That's why it peaked. And then when it was confirmed that he did not get a board seat, and it was just going to be Disney, Bob Iger, all the usual sorts, it's just been a sinking ship ever since then. And now we're here. Holy shit.
Yeah, and again, I mean, you have to consider, look at how low the trading volume has been. The volume for the day's shares. Right now, the average volume is about 10 million. But the volume today was 20 million shares, which is what explains the fall over the last 5 days. And the thing is, I mean, if anything, 20 million shares, it may have been Ike that sold today. Because that's more than average volume. Average volume's only 10. And like yesterday, I think they traded at 7.
You sure people aren't dumping now because they found out that Ike did? Because this sounds like he did it a little while back.
Well, either way, what's happening is...
the markets are responding to the fact everyone's jumping ship.
Yeah. Right here it says he sold his stake between early April and mid-July at an
Yeah,
average of
no,
just
no.
under 115. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's happening now is the response to the market is
Yeah,
Disney
that's what
is
I said.
doomed. So everyone's just selling now. That's why it's gone downhill.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I thought you meant that he just sold them today. That's what Culture said, I thought.
No. But what I'm
I
looking at is
misunderstood that part then. Okay.
yeah. What I said is, and that's why I said, are you sure he didn't sell today? Because average volume has been 10, but yesterday and the last few days where
So
the
you
stock
did
has
say
been.
it.
I didn't get to finish my just let me finish the sentence, please. So, but over the course of the last 5 days, you see this giant drop, and I think that people got wind of it probably a few days ago. But regardless, the volume had only been averaging like 7 million the last 5 days. So it's only institutions now that are hanging on to the stock. That's the whole point that I'm trying to explain. So,
in fairness, the article from Deadline does say between early April and mid-July, he sold his stake. So we don't really know, actually.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's not. The market's not responding very kindly.
No, this is a sinking ship right now.
To it.
And I don't think the politics over the weekend helped.
No,
you've had 2 or 3 weeks of nonstop barrage
nonsense.
Disney, well, not just the political side of things, but the Disney tapes, the Disney files. I'm sure there's a half a dozen other things I'm not remembering here that have come up. I'm sure there's been a couple new lawsuits here or there because they're getting a new lawsuit like every day. This company's on the verge of heading down in a dark abyss.
Oh, well, I'd say it's already starting to fall.
They are, but I mean, like, we're getting to the point where their levels were what 20 years ago now. Culture, roughly, like with inflation, that's horrible. Like, you got to think about that for a minute.
Oh yeah, and they've already, they've announced investments and stuff that they're going to be doing as well, which is not good. The amount of money they've been spending on Disney Plus is not good. So I like this part of this Deadline report. In a last dig, he told the publication it's because he doesn't have confidence in management and that he might be a buyer again if it falls to 65 to 75.
Which is what we said Peltz would probably do, right? Culture. I remember saying, yeah, Peltz will just sit back, wait for it to get so bad.
Yeah.
And then
buy lots of it.
Okay. Buy lots of it, or even maybe a corporate takeover.
Okay.
Yeah.
The cycle is Peltz buys in October. This is going to continue to fall. It'll get into the 80s. It's going to get there pretty fast if we're at $90 today. But when we get into the 80s, he can pick it up for a song and do what he did again, and he have even more shares than he did the last time. And I imagine Perlmutter will do the same thing. And they're going to bring friends. That
was Perlmutter's statement at the bottom.
What did he say?
What I just read out. That he doesn't believe in any would buy again if it reached $65, $75 a share.
Yeah, and I fully believe it is capable of falling down to 74.
100% is.
Yeah.
100% is.
So now we're not giving you stock advice, everybody. Do not listen to YouTubers for stocks.
I am. I said don't buy Disney stock. I was right.
Can you legally?
Okay.
I think you can.
I don't care.
Well.
All right.
I don't think you want to lose your YouTube channel, but yeah.
No. All right. Okay, fine. I'm not giving advice, but
I mean, I don't think you're worried. You're like have to worry about
the
U.S. law or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, that doesn't mean that YouTube couldn't be a dick to you somehow.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
but anyway, I see Peltz and with backed by people like Perlmutter and stuff coming back. But I think a lot of this last time was him saying, "Okay, I'm not going to do this with other people's money anymore." Right. I think that's kind of was the bigger part of that. He took one more shot. He didn't get the support he needed, but what he got was enough support that said, yes, if I come at this again, I might actually get the support I need, or I'm not going to, it isn't going to matter because he's going to end up buying enough stock that he'll have controlling interest in the company. Right. And I don't think, and he'll want to do it individually so he can actually make some moves himself. This is just my opinion, speculation. Because at that point, like, before, all the money in stocks and stuff that he was playing with besides Perlmutter's was investment group stuff, right? So he sold all those out, made those people money, made him a nice bit of money, and probably made him the most money you're going to make out of Disney for a while. That's the sad part. So this is a sinking ship. It's been a sinking ship. We've been saying this for a while. Again, I'm not going to talk about the stocks part because I'm not a, licensed financial advisor, but just from my point of view, that's what I see here is a sinking ship and people are getting off. Right. And Perlmutter, if he sold his, I'm assuming, like I said, right after, Peltz did it, and they're basically a team at this point. And if you got Elon in the mix too, with that trio, that is a financial trio you do not want to fuck with. Right. Pardon my French. And because, you got somebody like, look at Elon, and this is just an example. I'm not trying to get political. This is an example. Elon's throwing $45 million a month at Trump just because he can.
Yep.
That's pocket change for him. That's money he finds in his couch. Right. Yeah. So that's the thing is I don't think that Bob and some of the other people at Disney realize the amount of power and money that they're playing with right now. And you effed with some very important people's money. Right. Because you had a stock that was worth a lot, almost twice what it is now at one point.
Yeah.
And in more recent years, it was under Chapek. And that means a lot of people lost a lot of money. Very important rich people lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So Disney's not looking very good right now. So I'm going to see the support for them start to erode. They're basically the Titanic at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Breaking news.
It's amazing.
Breaking news. Disney
sucks.
Ship is sinking. It's capsized.
Yeah.
It's down.
Yeah.
They need to get out their oars. Start rowing to the shore.
Basically, Peltz is like unsinkable Molly Brown at this point. She's getting the F out of there. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm surprised over the past few weeks it's not had a much more significant effect in terms of the things which have been in the headlines, like the Disney files, Disney tapes, etc. But hey, this is the straw.
I think it has though, Nate. And I think that's why it's been so low.
Yeah, true. Well, yeah, I guess so. I'm looking at it. Yeah, you could be right.
And I said, the other day, I said, yesterday, sorry, not the other day. I said, I think the reason their stock is taking such a hit this last week has more to do with the fact that they have hitched their wagon to the Democrats so hardcore that all the chaos that's going on right now, I think, is having fun with their stock. I think that's the biggest issue right now. I could be wrong because Culture Now noticed that there was some people selling, but they're probably selling now because they heard Peltz finally, Perlmutter finally sold. So they're like, heck with this, right?
Well, like I said, the reason that I mentioned the volume, and this is the only thing that I wish people would take a look at. The only reason I mention it is because if you're trading such low volume and all it is downward pressure, the only people hanging on to the stock is the institutions, the investment funds and stuff, your 401k, your Roth IRA, all of that, in fact, you'll see consistently, because it's a blue chip, stock, technically part of the Dow. The only time they go up considerably is every 2 weeks on payday. So anyway,
what's interesting about this news, right? I mean, this is just, what year to date, etc. But what's interesting about this news, right, is we're all the way down here.
Yeah.
Even given the other reports that have come out today, which we'll look at in a minute. It's just interesting, isn't it? Just to see how bad it sort of dropped and has begun to tank, despite all of the other news which has come out, which is actually largely quite positive. But we'll get to that in a minute. But there you go, guys. We will move on now. I thought this